Yo, what's up? Before we get into the video, I just wanted to let you know that I was on the A Lot About Nothing podcast for their 100th episode. We were talking about anime and stuff, and if you're into that, go show the boys some love. It would mean the world to me. Today, let's turn some profile pics into funk beats. Welcome back to the Praxi Plays Profile Pic Challenge, also known as P4C. Lately, I've been in a pretty funky mood. You know, winter is right around the corner, it's starting to get a little chilly outside, it's almost spooky season, and it's just making me want to make some dark and moody beats. I wanted to revisit the funk wave of music and try making some cool bass-heavy funk, and also tackle some other subgenres of funk throughout the video and expand on more topics that I didn't get into in my last funk video. Which is doing numbers, by the way. Thank you so much. So yeah, let's make some funk beats that match my followers' profile pics. Follow me on my socials if you want to be a part of the next one. First beat. This beat is going to be based off of a profile pic from a YouTube comment, and I just absolutely love this picture. I think it's a drawing of a Nissan 240SX driving on the beach, and I love the colors, and I just love the angle of the pic as well. It makes me feel like I'm going really fast, and it makes me want to make something I can speed to. Something like a Phonk House beat. If you're not familiar with Phonk House, it's like a mix of the dark, bass-heavy sounds of drift funk, but played at a similar tempo and rhythm of house music. It's this really cool subgenre, definitely something you can play while driving a souped-up Nissan. And to start my beat off, whoa, wait.
What do you mean by that?
To start off my beat, I put down this simple melody with a cowbell. I added some simple effects to clean up the sound like a limiter, reverb, and stereo shaper. I also made a second melody pattern using a lower octave version of the cowbell and made for a cool counter melody. Now that the melodies are done, I started working on the drums. I'm using some hard-hitting kicks and snares. It's a very simple house pattern. The bass came out pretty cool too. I used an 808 and I put this fast distortion preset from Destructor on it. And lastly, I added some sound effects like these risers and this Memphis vocal chop. The main part of the beat is done, but I wanted to make an intro, so I recorded the beat in Edison and put this EQ filter over it. I also wanted to tie in the car motif, so I sampled this video of this guy's Nissan. That's pretty much it. Here's the beat. Next, beat. This pic is coming from a follower on Instagram. I love the dark, faceless, hooded figure, and it has this big, mischievous smile. It makes me want to make a beat that sounds dark and sinister. Not necessarily a funk type beat, but definitely Memphis inspired. More akin to a A$AP Rocky type beat.
Big A$AP Rocky. Stop making me look like Jimmy Neutron, bro.
For the melodies, I started with these two piano presets from Flex, one of them playing the chords, and the other one playing a simple melody. I layered this viola preset on top, just playing one note. And lastly, I used this analog bass sound font and played the bass melody. After I got the sounds layered together, I routed them all to the same mixer channel and added a few lo-fi effects. I added this radio EQ preset, Vinyl by Isotope, stereo shaper, and bit crusher. And I really like how cohesive this melody came out. It was really easy to make, mostly because I practiced the piano on Melodics. Melodics is a desktop app that helps you build your skills with your MIDI keyboard. With over 1,500 courses, lessons, and exercises, Melodics covers every aspect of learning the piano, from learning the notes and finger placements to practicing scales and hand coordination. And everything's organized with different courses so you can improve exactly where you want to. Melodics keeps track of your accuracy and timing while you play, and gives feedback on what you need to work on. It makes learning the piano pretty fun and intuitive. One of the courses that I like to revisit is definitely the chord practices. It just helps me get into the rhythm of playing different chords. And if you're looking for something new, Melodics has recently introduced songs, and you can play real songs from real artists. You can learn iconic bass lines from Queen or even riffs from TLC, and Melodics will break it down for you note for note. And with the knowledge gained from Melodics, you could definitely use it outside of the app, like working on your own music, jamming out in a studio session, and even performing live. If you want to try out Melodics, there's a link in the description. It is free to download. Back in my beat, I started working on the drums. I wanted to make them pretty complex with a lot of stuttery hi-hats and punchy kicks. I also added some open hi-hats and even a cowbell. I made this second pattern as well just to layer some more drums on top of the regular drums. And lastly, I added some effects to give the beat some character. I used some cool trap impact sounds and finished the beat with this cool vocal loop.
Lay back like a Mac, lay back like a Mac.
Now that I got all the sounds I need, all I did was arrange, and here's the beat. Final beat. Alright, so this last picture came from a TikTok follower, and it did make me chuckle a little bit. It did put a smile on my face. It's a pic of Earl Sweatshirt in front of an explosion. And I just love how nonchalant he looks in this pic, especially with this big ass fire behind him. If I was a real art snob, I would definitely talk about the dichotomy between chaos and indifference. But instead, I'm just gonna make a cool dark funk beat and sample Earl Sweatshirt. I might even do something kind of synthy, similar to some other funk producers like Last Century. For my track, I started off with the sample, looping a section of Earl Sweatshirt's song Sick off of his last album. I pitched it down 400 cents and added a ton of effects. I used Origin to make the sample kind of lo-fi, Supermassive for this huge reverb sound, Bit Crusher for some static, and EQ to cut some of the harsh frequencies, Stereo Shaper to widen it, and Comeback Kid for a final delay. Now that that's done, I used Flex to play some analog strings and Cheese Machine as a hover bass to play the main melodies in the bass line for the song. I'm using quite a bit of effects on these instruments as well, like an EQ and Stereo Shaper on the bass, and an EQ, Origin, and Stereo Shaper, and Supermassive on the strings. It's a pretty cool muffled sound for the main melodic parts of the song. I wanted it to sound big and epic, as if you were walking in slow-mo with an explosion behind you. Kinda like the picture. The last sounds I added were a sub bass and GMS, and this cool synth lead from Flex. A lot of effects on that synth lead. The drums came out pretty easy once the melodies were done. I kept them pretty steady and simple. I'm still going for that same minimal trappy sound. I wanted the beat to sound like something you would hear in a car montage video. The last sounds I added were some riser and impact effects. And here's the final beat.